The house she built. Don't you dare argue with my wife and her house. Those were my son's words. My son. The boy I once carried on my shoulders, whose scraped knees I kissed, whose nightmares I chased away with stories. Now he stood in the doorway of my living room, in the house I designed and built with my own hands, the one with my initials carved beneath the staircase, shouting at me as if I were an intruder. Amanda, his wife, sat on the couch with her arms crossed, that smug little smile curling at the corner of her mouth. She looked like she'd finally won something. It wasn't his shouting that broke me. It was a look in his eyes, like he truly believed this house wasn't mine anymore. I didn't yell back. I didn't cry. I just looked around the room, at the beams I sanded, the walls I painted, the home I built from love and grief, and said quietly, "You're right. Maybe it's time I stop arguing in someone else's house." They thought that was surrender. It wasn't. It was the beginning. After my husband died, the house became my anchor. It was our dream, a lakeside home we planned together, but that I finished alone. Every nail, every wall, every bloom in the garden was a piece of my healing. When my son married Amanda, I offered them stability, told them they could live there rent-free. My only condition was simple: respect the space. Treat it as shared, not gifted. At first, Amanda was sweet, too sweet. "Mom, let me help you." "Mom, sit down, I've got it." Her kindness dripped like syrup, sticky, excessive, insincere. Then the changes started. My curtains disappeared. My furniture was replaced. My seat at the table was quietly reassigned. One afternoon, she smiled and said, "You should think about getting your own place. This house doesn't really suit your age." I laughed it off. My son said nothing. That silence, that was the first betrayal. Then came the little shifts. Mail redirected. Bills in their names. Contractors arriving unannounced, making updates I hadn't approved. And then one evening, I heard it, Amanda's voice, sharp and triumphant, drifting from the kitchen. "Once the refinance is through, she'll have no say left. The title will be in our names." My son hesitated. "Mom wouldn't like that." Amanda's reply was quiet, poisonous. "She won't even know. You said she never checks the paperwork." That was the moment I realized they weren't just disrespecting me. They were planning to erase me. I went to my room, locked the door, and opened the old chest that held every document, every deed, every contract. By dawn, I confirmed the truth. The house was still legally mine. Entirely mine. I didn't confront them. I prepared. Step 1, secure the fortress. I called my lawyer the next morning. We updated the deed, added a clause against unauthorized occupants, and reinforced my property rights. Step 2, watch and wait. I stopped interfering. Let them believe they were winning. I smiled when Amanda painted over my walls. I nodded when my son said they'd host a housewarming party. Step 3, bait the arrogance. When they mentioned refinancing, I acted confused. "Oh, that paperwork stuff goes over my head," I said. Amanda smirked. "Don't worry, Mom. We'll handle it." Perfect. Step 4, the final move. While they were out shopping for new furniture, I called a locksmith. By the time they returned, the locks were changed. I sat on the porch, a folder resting on my lap. Amanda got out of the car first, irritation already in her voice. "Why are you sitting outside?" I didn't answer. I just watched her try the key, once, twice, until frustration turned to panic. My son came around the car. "Mom, what's going on?" I handed him the folder. "That's the deed. You might want to check whose name is on it before you raise your voice again." Amanda snatched it from him. "What's this supposed to?" Then she saw the signature. Mine. Stamped. Sealed. Undeniable. I stood. "You were planning to refinance this house without my consent. That's fraud." My son's voice trembled. "Mom, we didn't." I cut him off. "You told me to get out of my own home. So I did, but now it's your turn." I nodded toward the 2 suitcases I'd packed from their room. Everything else stayed inside. Amanda broke. She screamed, cursed, pleaded. My son just stood there, pale, small, lost. I didn't flinch. I closed the door. An hour later, their friends began arriving. guests of the party they planned. Amanda tried explaining between sobs, pointing at the locked door. My son stammered something about a misunderstanding. Then she shouted, "She stole our house." That's when I stepped onto the balcony, holding the deed high. My voice was calm. "This is my house. Always has been. You were guests, and you forgot how to behave like them." Silence rippled through the crowd. Cameras flashed. Neighbors peeked from their porches. Amanda collapsed onto the driveway, weeping. My son just looked up at me, and for the first time, I saw in his eyes not anger, not shame, but realization. Good, because the woman who tolerated their disrespect no longer existed. They left that night with what they could fit in the car. I heard later they'd rented a one-bedroom across town. The same people who once called my decor outdated. My son called once. He didn't ask for forgiveness, only said softly, "I understand now." I told him, respect is a foundation. Without it, no house, no relationship can stand. Then I hung up. Now the house is quiet again, peaceful. Every creak in the wood, every reflection on the lake feels like it's breathing with me again. And sometimes when I walk past the living room where he shouted those words, I can't help but smile, because the truth is simple. I didn't throw them out. They evicted themselves the moment they forgot who built the walls around them.